Hello and welcome to Lab Time, this little seminar today. I've been really excited to show this beast of a machine, but also this is going to be probably one of the longer videos to be able to show what it actually can do and how much we actually have to look at today. And that's Search XT. And I haven't been using it for a long time. I've had it for a long time, but I found out they made a skin, because right now this is how it looks. Something from, it kind of pinched my eyes when I look at it. It's like this old-fashioned thing that from right out of the bat, it is crazy, and it's still crazy as it is now. But if we, on the homepage, you can go in and get skins. We can go in and say skins, and we could go in and find skins. So I downloaded a lot of them, but the Royal Search XT looks like that, and it's like, now it's nice to look at. And now it actually looks like something that could be a really expensive synthesizer. And it actually behaves like a really expensive synthesizer. A lot of effort has gone through to make this synth. And it's cool because it's open source. See you, Osmos? Yes. So what are we looking at here? First of all, at the top of the synth, we have what is called the header. And this is the header up here. And it works in different layers. So we have two layers. We have an A side and a B side. And you can't see it's not doing anything right now. But if I, let's say, just move the pitch here and go to B, it resets. So we have a clean sheet of two sides on this synth. So if I double click, it will go back to its normal. What we have down here is called scene, a scene. The first section over here is the oscillator. Underneath this, we have what's called the routing system. But also, you can see how many LFOs we have. We have actually 12 LFOs right here. And then you see an S LFO, and this is called the step LFO. But it is just a regular LFO until we set it as a step LFO, or whatever we would call it. And then afterwards, we could look over here. We have filter 1 right here, and filter 2 here. So we have two filters. Underneath that, we have the filter envelope and the amp envelope. And then I was like, it only has two envelopes on each side. And I was like, I really would love if there was more envelopes. But we'll get into that later, because there is a lot more envelopes than the eye just look at. So down here, if we choose, right now it's on LFO 1. So all this is LFO 1, and this is the modulator section. But yeah, and at the last one, we have the effect session over here, and that's pretty crazy as well when we get into that. But the header first, right now the mode is single. So we have A and we have B. So right now, if we choose A and play, it will play the A scene. If we then switch to B, it will only play the B scene. But we could set dual, and then we have suddenly 1, 2, 3 oscillators here, so 6 oscillators in total. We could set split, and then we could say where the split should be on the keyboard. We have one section on one side and one section on the other, where we set the split should be. And then we have channel split as well, where the channel should be. But let's just have it on single. Right now it's polyphonic with 16 voices. We also can go in and see what there is at the presets. There is 2,500 presets when you just download it. The sounds are in my opinion, not the best sounds there is, but that doesn't hold me back, because you could make something that's really nice. There is nice presets, but you have to search for them for a bit of time. But the factory presets are the one that comes with, you can see there's a lot, comes with Search XT. Then there's third-party patches, so you can go in and in categories, see who made some, yeah, there's a lot of presets in here, and then user patches as well. And I downloaded some banks, and I made my own, where I categorized some in bass, key, pad, percussion, pluck, whatever. And we can make as many subfolders as we want. Right now, this is fine for me. So just click up at the top to go back to this. And then the categories, we could choose between the categories, and then the presets here, we can undo and redo. That's really nice if we did something wrong. Then over here, it's MPE friendly as well. So if you have a push 3 or a Rolly keyboard, we could do multi-polyphonic expression on this bad boy here as well. We could look at tuning. We can open tuning systems in here. So if we would like to have an Indian tuning or whatever tuning, we could do that. We could zoom in and out. Right now it's on 150%. It's just how we look at it. And then we could set it on the zoom, which one we would have as when we open it. All this over here is to bypass the effects. So it has send and return effects. It has global effects, and then then we can bypass all of them. So you can see it's red, no effects. If we want to hear the sound without the effects, we can just click that or off. Then the engine could also be natural or bright or warm. It's how it's set. If you want which sounds you're making, like a vintage sound, it would be warm, and yeah. Then we have the global volume amount here. And cool thing is, if we just listen to it's right now, it's just a saw. If we right click up here, we could actually have an oscilloscope here. So we could actually directly see the oscilloscope and the time scale. We could freeze it and see how it looks. We have spectrum. So we could actually see everything in here. And it's cool that right now it's kind of locked inside here, but we could just click here. And now we could have that on a separate screen if we want to. Pretty nice that we can do that. So that was the header. Next thing is, we're going to spend a little bit of time in here because there's a lot to cover here. And that's the oscillator. Right now it's set to classic, and to classic it's just a saw, and we can kind of morph the shape into this thing. We can take the width of it. It's just shaping the wave. We could have the submix. We can sync it, and be careful with that, because syncing is pretty crazy. We could do unison. So right now this is 10 cents, but then we only have one voice. So if we take 3 voices, so we can stack 16 voices at the same time if we want to. That was just classic mode. And then up here we have key track. So if we don't have key track, it's the same tone. Key track, we could play it. We could re-trigger so it starts at the same time on the wave. And then we can set the octaves right here. So, and if we wanted to make, let's say, a sub oscillator out of 1, or right now we're on B. Let's just have one, oscillator 1 here at A. That was the classic. And then you think, okay, cool, that's it. But definitely not. If we go in here, we can see classic mode is sawtooth and square. Modern sawtooth, square, triangle, sine. That's what I call the classic. That is what is called subtractive synthesis, where you have a tone and then you can start taking something out. Then we have wavetable. And wavetable, it comes with a lot of wavetables. So basics we have here, generated a lot of different really nice, yeah, we can click on it so it will change how you look at it. And then we just morph through this on this. So pretty cool. We can skew. Let's have that here. So we kind of skew it. We can saturate it directly on it. So we have some form of distortion on it. We have format. And we can skew it that way. We want to, and detuning as well. And again, we have third-party wavetables, and you can import your own if you have Serum, if you have Vital, if you have whatever, you have wavetables, you can just add them in here as well. That's totally fine. You can do that. So you have a trillion wavetables. So it shouldn't be an obstacle at all, because yeah, we can have rhythmical, we have sampled. So sampled if we want something to sound real from a wavetable. So if, let's say, we can try and do that. The piano sounds like this, and the morph should start at the end. And then we have to kind of go that way. So now we have to have an envelope set to this. And how do we do that? I don't want to use my amp envelope, that's volume envelope. The filter envelope, I would like to use that. That's kind of dedicated to this. So, and that was my first frustration, was like, how can we do that? Well, we have 12 LFOs. So what we can do with LFO 1, and look what happens when I click this little icon. Now it says envelope 1. So we actually have 12 envelopes if we want to, if we're not using any LFOs as well. The cool thing also, if we will take just a regular LFO and look down here, we have an envelope for the LFO. And that's pretty crazy. Let's say we have an LFO. To map this, we just click it. Now you can see they turn blue. So now I can say, okay, I want this to go way down. So now it's going to scan this up and down with this LFO. Click it again. So now it scans through with this. But let's say I don't want the LFO to come in right away. We can set a delay on it. So it will kind of 5 seconds. Now it's done. That's normal. But the cool thing with the LFO is we can kind of set this in, and this is 5 seconds again, and it will come gradually. So it will kind of do what would be expected for an envelope, but just on the LFO. And that's pretty unique for a LFO to be able to do that. But let's go like this and click envelope. So now, and we can do, so it's not unipolar. So we will morph downwards. We could have this going downwards and then click this and go upwards until go. That's how you set this to be. But right now it's a fast envelope. The cool thing is I can right click and can just say fast envelope 1. Now it's called fast envelope 1. So it's very easy to keep track of what each envelope or LFO actually does. That's one way to kind of morph through things. So that was Wavetable. If we go down, and I was like looking at this window, what is the difference between a wavetable and a window? So if you look at it, it's the same table as the wavetable, but now look at what happens up here when we change from wavetable to window. So window is a lot more smooth than the wavetable. It kind of it shapes it to a not so harsh sound. So this is really good for lush pads and stuff that's not going too crazy without filtering. After we can put filters on it. After that, let's zoom out. We have sine. We just have a sine wave, but if you see the shape here for the sine wave, we can go down and have different wave types as well, and then we can send feedback. Whoops, sorry, I still have the... So we can kind of... And the behavior of the FM2 and 3. So the behavior would just be the same as what we'll come to next is FM. But now we can do some crazy stuff with that. We can also say we don't want the envelope on it. Just right click it. So you can right click on almost everything and it has its own menu. That's also pretty crazy that how deep you actually can go with this. This is pretty cool, and if you're not too much into FM, they made it pretty cool to do FM without knowing FM. So right now you can see oscillator 2 is just a classic, so let's just say sine to that as well. And then we go over here to the FM routing, oscillator FM routing. We can say 1 or 2, this oscillator 2 is gonna morph the first one. We can just take that and start. Go down to a bass. So just without knowing anything, just click on 1 to 2 and then start to implement. And then we have FM going on already without actually knowing stuff about it. Something caught my mouse. There we go. So if we wanted to take the envelope here, just click it, say, okay, I want to add some FM here. Too much. Click it again, drag this. You're already just by clicking these two, have a nice bass and then say, okay, I want to have a little bit more punch. And again, if we then turn on for a sine wave as well, we can say 3 alters 2, 2 alters 1, and we get more, of course, of FM. So we can go pretty crazy with it. That's one way of doing FM. Next, we have the real FM. And that's also pretty crazy if we go into FM2. So right off the bat, we don't need 1, 2, and 3 because on each here we have 2 oscillators kind of doing the FM on itself. So we actually have 6 independent FM channels we can do stuff with. So first of all, we have the amount. Let's click that so it's not blue. and it just sounds beautiful. So let's just keep it on about 50%. Then we have the ratio, how much it should work, and now it goes crazy, but it goes in. So now we can go in and say, okay, we want the envelope to be kind of go up here, and now we have this classic. Let's go down with it. We have the M2, that's the ratio, and the so this is the other oscillator or operator that we work with, how much amount we want on this. So we can kind of go crazy just with, this is just one oscillator that goes crazy with all that. We can offset it. We can phase return it. So if we have phase issues, we can just alter that, and the phase issue would go away. And then we have feedback. So how much, let's just have it so it sounds fairly cool. How much we send it back to itself. Or the opposite. So pretty cool stuff with this. And if you then take FM3, it just have 3 instead of just on 1. And that means, why would we have 3 when we can use these sounds? Because if we have 3, we start to get these metallic sounds that FM is known for, and we just have that on 1 oscillator. So imagine having 6 of these. You can go really bonkers with this. It is pretty crazy. Yeah, we're able to do that. We're not done yet, because then afterwards we have what's called string. And string is a little bit like physical modeling. So we can actually do, let's just start with initialize. We can go into templates, and we have different inits, and we can also do audio init, so we can send audio into this like a modular synthesizer as well. And that's also very, very unique for a soft synth. But let's take this, so no, just let's take the sine like this, and then we just have this sine wave here. String. So we get this. Right now it's just for burst noise, pink noise. Let's go. We can go, and then we can set the detuning of that. So if we have this noise here, we can gain that if we want to, and go deep. Start to have that. If it clicks, just turn off the attack a little bit over here. That's the burst sine, triangle. So just in that, we have some really, really cool things we can do with that, and we can start to pretty cool. Then we have twist, and it's just could I get some to get those in? It's outside. No, you have to go out and open the door. I'm sorry. Yeah, after the sync we can do that with the twist, and then we have waveforms here, wave shaper. So you can start to see how deep this machine is, and this is just the oscillator section. And we're actually not done yet, because we also have in here, we can do additive synth as well. Yeah, and then we have sample and hold noise, we have audio input, left and right or stereo. So yeah, it's pretty crazy, but let's just go back to its regular FM2. Wrong. Wasn't there not somebody? Okay. But back to its original. Now we've seen what craziness there is just on the oscillators. Up here you can see where we can play polyphonic, so we can go chords. Yep. Mono, we could mono, I actually don't know what these two are. Step mono, or I think this is, don't shoot me down, I'm not sure. And then we have latch, so it's just right away have a tone. But something I found that's really nice, if you know, I've made this tutorial on drift, Ableton's basic synths as well. So we have oscillator drift, and this works even better than the Abletons. So if we turn this up, and let's make a just classical sawtooth. If we open up the oscilloscope and have the spectrum, let's just listen to it now. We have to have it. Why isn't there any sound? What did I do wrong? Oh, we need to do this. So look at the end down here. And you can also hear it on the tone. So if I play a chord, and now it's extreme, it's full, but we have this analog feel to it that it's drifting. So that's pretty unique as well, that we can do that with the drift. We also have noise colors if the noise is on, but right now you can see down here we have the mixer. So the first three is just mixing up and down. Right now we can actually only hear the first one. We can start to set the other. They're on a tone here, so we can set that as a sub oscillator. If we want to, we can mix that in. If we want to, we could solo, if we just need to work with that. Let's just mute these as well. Then down here, these numbers that's here is right now when they're in the middle, they have both filter 1 and filter 2. So I could route the first oscillator to filter 1, route the second filter to filter 2, and so on and so on. The next here, this one is a ring modulator that we could say how much we're going to ring modulate 1 and 2 together, or 2 and 3 together. Then we have directly a noise engine. And we can just set up and down how we would like that. This is just this is the normal sound, and we can push it if we want to. So the mixer is pretty powerful as well. And if we make some sound with this, let's just make a bass. Go over to 1 and set this to FM. Let's just have, maybe now it's a good way to kind of see what we're doing down here, is that we have just LFOs in different ways. This is random but random with a slope. So if we take the rate, we can start to see how crazy we'll get with that. And let's say we want to set this to a filter. Whoop, yeah, we can always do that. Set the filter rate. Right now it's bipolar, so it goes both way. And then you can see how many filters we have as well. High pass, we have notch filters, multi, we have effects, so we have comb filters, resonant warp all pass, cutoff warp all pass, and sample and hold down here as well. Let's just take a 12 dB on the. Now we have a just a random LFO. We can also go here is the envelope. Now it says envelope 1 if we click that, but we can also do sequencer. So we actually also have kind of a sequencer what we can play around with. And again, we could say if we want envelope on that as well. If we want this, right now it's set to hertz. If we right click, we could just set tempo. And now it's set to 16/8. And we can kind of do that on the filter, take that all the way down, take unipolar, and then this one should go all the way up. And let's then have a look at, we also have a wave shaper. And the cool thing is that we have a lot of stuff in this. We have a saturator, we have effects, and the effects are pretty cool. We have harmonics. Let's take additive, and then it looks like that. And if we look at this little icon, we can actually see what's going on. Now it's doing that. So we can, let's maybe have that full, down, up. If we click these, kind of can hold it where it is for a bit. Then we can have this thing where we draw whatever kind of small little, you can see down here how it would behave. And take that down. You can see what's happening in here is what's going on in this loop. So if we drag that out, we could just build our own multi-stage envelope generator. So again, don't see it as one. We actually have 12 we can do that with. So it is pretty crazy. And then we just have, a form. And that's what we click in here. You could enter whatever you would like if you're into that formula editor. I don't know shit about this, so I will just jump over that. But there you're able to kind of do crazy stuff in here as well. So that was all these down here, but it was only the 12 down here. If we can see, if we want velocity on stuff, we could just click that, release velocity, poly attack, MPE pressure. If we want that on stuff, we could just apply it there. Pitch bend, mod wheel, breadth, filter, EG, key track, lowest key, amp, expression, sustain. And if you look down here, if we see MPE timbre, and we click on MPE up here, if we don't want MPE, it's just timbre, so we can still use it. And now it's called pitch bend instead of, no, it's still pitch bend, it's the pressure. Then instead it's called channel attack. But I like the MPE stuff. So yeah. But then you can see we have these windows that we can move if we want to see that stuff. And again, we could choose for our envelope is it should be behaving like an analog or a digital, where we can make these different, we can shape it differently. Yeah, we can't do that with the analog. Are you holding up? Because there is a lot to go through here. So, filtering. I was like, normally I like to see it visual, how the filter is, how it behaves. That's pretty modern to do. But you can hear as well, because we have this little bad boy. So now we could just open up the filter. If we want the resonance, it will kind of show how it is. And then if we turn that over here, we could just go up and see the ladders, which kind of notch, whatever. We could see filter 2 over here. So it is like we can see it if we want to. But sometimes it's also nice just to use your ears for a sake and just listen to what you want. We could take the filter balance. If we have two, like say a bandpass over here, it will kind of morph between these two filters. So we can go parallel. We could click over here if it's going parallel. So 3 is just summon in the middle. All nice. The last thing, 2 things up here are the filter configuration. Series 1, Series 2. It's just how the filtering is gonna affect each other. And that's pretty crazy how you can set up stuff. So you can see we have the sound that goes into both filtering that sums up in here, and then we can make the feedback go that way. This is, by the way, the feedback that will kind of set into the filters as well. And then we have the output where we can have send and return tracks, where we can send stuff into these in the middle. That's the send and returns. I think we're pretty much in here. And we can then, let's just have, so we can really hear stuff. Let's just hear envelope 2 and set this as something. Something like that, and then just take that off. Take that off. Oh yeah, by the way, let's just try and find some preset that has some stuff going on, because now it's kind of hard to see what's actually been done here. So instead of a mod matrix, well, it is a mod matrix, but they called it a list instead. So over here we can just click on the list, and now we can actually see what's going on for all our modulation sources and stuff. And you can alter it in here as well. So this is pretty nice as well, that we can see all of what's going on. Let's go back to the init saw. And like that. Then we're gonna look at the effects, because the effects source here is also pretty crazy. Because normally you would get a flanger, a delay, and a reverb, and maybe a distortion. I know that the expensive one, like Serum or what's one, like that's crazy with Faceplant, has so many. But if I right click on this and I want to add, there is a fair amount of stuff we can do. So it actually have graphic EQs, it has exciter, resonators, it has just in distortion this bonsai, I have no idea what it is, but regular distortion, neuron, tape distortion, wave shaper, mangling, we have compilators, frequency shifters, nimbus, yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked too much into what it is on the names, but like vocoder, you can make something vocode in here as well. And up to modulation, we have chorus, and samplers is much more like this crazy unison thing. We could just have this. It's just we haven't done any sound design at all. We just right off the bat click this, go to Ensembler, have glass highlights. So we have this kind of analog sound. We can go monster dirt. And we haven't even done anything yet, and it comes just right out that. So that's one effect, just setting that. We can have rotary speakers, we can have phaser, flanger, delay, and there's a lot of stuff going on. There is one that is let's play together. It's kind of cool. Together with another delay. Let's just have cool tabs with that. So now we have 2 delays on it. So we can just throw that on A. So these 4 slots are for A. We have 4 slots for B. And then we have the send and return tracks down in here. So if we double click, it will bypass it. Otherwise, we could just clear Synth. Clear scene. We can also just deactivate it if we want to. But then the scenes down here is for both for A and B. And we can then send level A and B for 1 and 2. And that's the return of them over here. And we have global effects on everything afterwards as well. The last one, multi-effects, we can have compressors, all that stuff as well, limiting, here limiter 1 and 2, speaker suppressor, or peak suppressor, compression, sit tight, also compression, mid-side tools if we want to do something with that as well. So yeah, and then now I think we should just try and make some sounds in here, because this is pretty much it. And now I say pretty much it because it's kind of crazy what we can do with this. And again, I'll just say it again, it's free. You can just go download it. It's free. And it's always been free. I could show some of the sounds I made in here. I have this percussion thing I made that is, let's go deep. Cool, and we can just take the shape, it's a wavetable, so we can just, we need to have it on 1, and that's the wavetable. We can try different stuff. So it's easy just to try in window. To the same sound. I also made kind of a, what do you call it, Kato guitar thing. But let's say there's a lot of rumble in here. Normally you would take an EQ and take some of the rumble away, but we can just say EQ, graphic EQ, and then say full treble, and then do it right in here. And again, right now, set to 1, 2. Now we can just try and FM that if we want to. Also, a cool thing is, if you own a push, I'll just take my picture away. If you open down here in the corner, you can see I mapped all my macros down here. And if I say, okay, I want my cutoff on my filter here, I can set add modulation to macro 1. and say how many hertz. I can't remember what's the max. 25,000. So let's take that one here and just go downwards. So now it's just the opposite. Let's just move it the other way. And then doing from the bottom. So we have this going up, and now, did I do it with this? I think I did. Filter cutoff. So now, let's see, yeah, full on to this. So now the cutoff here is just on that. But the cool thing is it says cutoff. So, you know, it's pretty easy to go and say, okay, I want this on the resonance. Now it says resonance. And on my push, if I then save this, I can just say okay, and then override yes. And then if we close this down and open up Search XT and open up this one here, plug guitar, they should be on. If we see it down here, now it says resonant and cutoff. So that's pretty neat that we can go in and it will actually say that what the actual macros is. So we can kind of program this beast as we want to. So yeah, any questions? Like a trillion questions, but I know it's did it kind of open up your mind for this synth? How we can make sounds in that? Because it is really exciting for me, because when it looked like that, it was just, I didn't want to have anything to do with it, because it looks like shit, and that it's been looking like that for many years. There is, if you want to see the menu here, is skins, fun time, pretty nice as well, pretty sleek. The modern dark is also nice. I really like that as well. But my favorite though is the old-fashioned. This one is clean, doesn't pop up in my face. But yeah.
I have a question.
Yep.
Can you try and explain, like, just in simple terms, maybe what the FM is? Because I don't really understand it.
Okay.
I know that you have like two wavetables and one modulate the other, but I don't know how, like,
Okay.
get something from a sine
Yes.
to modulate. Yeah.
Yes. The easiest way is if you take two sine waves and you take that sine wave and modulate the pitch of that sine wave. If you go, let's say you just doubled it, nothing would happen. But if you then had, let's say, well, something will happen, of course, when you start to modulate. Let's just have this in it with FM. So you can see what happens if you take the two sine waves here, and you kind of take that other sine wave. It starts to bend the sine wave when you put them together. And we'll start to do that. It's about harmonics from the sine waves. When the harmonics are doubled, or you kind of, how fast the sine wave goes into the other sine wave, it alters the pattern of it.
So one is like up an octave.
Yes.
And the other is.
Well, it doesn't, you can hear, this is when we kind of pitch stuff. Yes. Yeah. If we take this one instead and just have that and take 1 to 2, you can see this is then what's going to go on. We're not going to listen to it, we're just going to use it as a modulator. What happens here, it will do this. Let's have it deeper. Right? But if we then take it 1 octave up, it will kind of go more crazy every time. Yep. But then it goes so slow that it's kind of difficult to use it. But it has to do something with ratios, how they align the waves.
Yeah. Wait, so if you put it to -1 now, you won't be able to hear the difference?
You always, because the depth, how much you feed into it, will move the wave file.
Okay.
Yeah, but the more FM, the higher in the pitch will be. It's a little bit hard to grasp on. I actually have from.
I got a bit understanding with like the harmonics.
Let's see, I have something from level 2, a sheet I can show you. Here. So this is what's going on, right? So you have the first harmonic, and then you mix it with the third harmonics, and then you start to see the shape of the FM. Yeah. So yeah. Well, this was well. Again, I could start to make some sounds, but you actually seen how crazy it is. So yeah. Much more of an overview this time, but yeah, almost an hour now just to go through what it actually can do. I've sit with this for a whole week now, and it kind of stuck to me, and gets easier and easier to use when you know that just to set this, click 2 times, start to, and you can do that, or you can do unipolar if you just want to go from here to here. Down here if you want to go fully. Right click on parameters, all parameters, you can just take stuff out. You can say, okay, I want to take this to whatever I want to. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And again, if I click, we can also see, go directly to the manual if we want to, if you don't know about stuff. And also in here, we have documentation, extras, skin library. So that's where you can get all the skins, and there's quite a few of them. Extras also, yeah, a lot of stuff that's in here. Yes. Cool. Well, thank you for this time. This was Search XT. I will put the link in the description where you can get it. And see you next time.